Three things happened today that will change this war. Not three updates, not three developments, three separate events, each one historic on its own. All three landing on the same morning while most of the world was still asleep. First, Iran named its new supreme leader officially on state television. The IRGC pledged full obedience within hours. His name is Mojtaba Khamenei. He is the son of the man who was killed on the first day of this war. And Washington called him a lightweight this morning, said he would not last long. Israel said the moment his name was spoken, he became a target. Second, oil crossed $100 a barrel overnight, then $109, then $113. Dow futures crashed over 1,000 points before sunrise. Gas at your pump is 47 cents more expensive than it was 7 days ago. And the analyst who tracks every single gas station in the country said this morning that the odds of $4 gas within 30 days are now 80%. Third, a seventh American soldier is dead. He died in Saudi Arabia from wounds he received on March 1st. His name is being withheld until his family is notified. 7 Americans, all Army, all killed in the opening days of a war that Congress never voted on. 3 stories, 1 morning. This is day 10. Let me give you the full picture of every single one. Start with the new supreme leader because this is the story that changes everything about how this war ends or does not end. Iran officially named Mojtaba Khamenei to succeed his father as supreme leader. This is not a rumor, not a leak. This is confirmed by Iranian state television, confirmed by 4 separate Iranian news agencies, confirmed by the Assembly of Experts in an official statement. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps declared its readiness for full obedience and self-sacrifice in carrying out the commands of the new supreme leader and vowed to continue fighting until Iran is victorious. The most powerful military organization in Iran pledged full obedience to the new leader within hours of the announcement. That is not a regime that is collapsing. That is a regime that just reloaded. Now let me tell you who this man actually is, because calling him a lightweight is one of the most dangerous misreads of a foreign leader in recent history. Mojtaba Khamenei is the second son of the supreme leader who was killed on the first day of this war. His mother was killed in the same strike. His wife was killed. One of his sisters was killed. He was reportedly not present and has so far survived the intense bombing campaign. His father is dead. His mother is dead. His wife is dead. His sister is dead. And he just accepted the job of leading the country that did it. His authority has largely come from proximity to power rather than religious stature. His deep ties to the Revolutionary Guard and the security apparatus suggest that the institutions driving Iran's current war posture will retain strong influence going forward. His selection signals that Iran's ruling elite has chosen stability over experimentation at a moment of extreme pressure. It is a clear sign that hardline factions retain power and could indicate that the government has little desire to agree to a deal or enter negotiations in the short term. Read that last part one more time. Little desire to agree to a deal or enter negotiations in the short term. Washington demanded unconditional surrender. Iran responded by choosing the most hardline available successor. The man whose entire family was wiped out in the opening strikes. The man with the deepest ties to the IRGC. The man who has never given a public speech and has never shown any sign of backing down from anything in his life. There are reports that his own father had never wanted him to lead and had specifically said so during his lifetime. That preference was overridden. The IRGC wanted him. The IRGC got him. The revolution just became a dynasty against the express wishes of the man who started it. And Washington's response was to say the new leader is not going to last long without approval, that he will have to get approval or face consequences, that he is unacceptable. Iran's response was to choose the one man that was called unacceptable. This is not a negotiation. This is two governments speaking two completely different languages and bombing each other while they do it. Now let me give you the oil story, because this is the one that hits every person directly and personally, no matter how far they live from the Middle East. Oil crossed $100 a barrel for the first time in more than 3.5 years. Brent crude was up over 16% from its Friday closing price. West Texas Intermediate was up nearly 17%. U.S. oil futures shot up over 24% to $113.30 a barrel. Dow futures crashed over 1,000 points. S&P 500 futures were down over 2%. Nasdaq futures lost more than 2%. Japan's stock market tumbled more than 7% in early trading. South Korea plunged more than 8%. Hong Kong fell nearly 3%. This is not a war premium. This is the global economy beginning to price in a reality that financial markets spent the first 9 days of this conflict refusing to fully accept. The Strait of Hormuz is functionally closed. The conflict has already led to the suspension of roughly a fifth of global crude and natural gas supply. A near complete shutdown of the strait means the region's top oil producers have had to suspend shipments of as much as 140 million barrels of oil. That is equal to about 1.4 days of total global demand wiped out in a single week. The average price of gasoline reached $3.45 a gallon, up 16% from the week prior. The odds of reaching $4 a gallon within the next month are now 80%, according to the head of petroleum analysis at the company that tracks every single gas station in the country. That is not a fringe prediction. That is a professional saying it plainly. And the response from Washington was to post that short-term oil prices are a very small price to pay for safety and peace. That only fools would think differently. The Americans filling up at $4 pumps are not fools. They are people who have to get to work, and midterm elections are 8 months away. Some analysts project oil could rise to $150 a barrel by the end of March if travel through the strait does not resume. And nothing in today's announcements from Tehran suggests the strait is reopening anytime soon. Now I want to talk about the 7th American soldier, because this story is being buried under the weight of the leadership announcement and the market crash, and it deserves to be told on its own. A U.S. service member died after sustaining injuries during an attack in Saudi Arabia on March 1st. The name is being withheld until 24 hours after the family is notified. 7 Americans dead, all Army, all killed in the first days of a war that began on February 28th. When asked whether meeting with the families of the fallen gave him pause about the war, the answer was no. The parents said, "Please win this for my child." And when asked if more dignified transfers should be expected, the answer was, "I am sure. I am sure." The commander-in-chief said he is sure more American soldiers will come home in flag-draped coffins. And the war continues, uninterrupted. Now look at the full picture of what this conflict looks like on day 10. A new supreme leader in Tehran, who lost his entire family in the opening strikes and has pledged to continue fighting. An IRGC that has declared full obedience and continues wave after wave of missile attacks. Oil at $113 a barrel. Markets crashing over 1,000 points before they even open. Gas on track for $4 a gallon within 30 days. 7 American soldiers dead. Japan down 7%. South Korea down 8%. And the man leading the opposing country being called a lightweight who will not last long. Mojtaba Khamenei has reportedly never given a public speech, has never shown any inclination toward compromise. He grew up inside the most hardline institution in the Islamic Republic. He watched his father lead the most influential country in the Middle East for 36 years. And he just watched his entire family get killed in a single morning. Washington wants unconditional surrender from that man. And that man just pledged to fight until victory. Here is the question that will define the next 30 days. Oil is at 113. It could hit 150 by the end of this month. The midterms are 8 months away. At what point does the economic pain from this war force a political calculation that overrides the military one? At what point does $4 gas become $5 gas, and $5 gas become a crisis bigger than the war itself? That is the pressure Iran is counting on. That is what the IRGC meant when they said they could sustain this for 6 months. They are not counting on winning militarily. They are counting on the economy cracking before their military does. So tell me in the comments, do you think $4 gas changes the calculation about continuing this war? And do you think the new supreme leader is actually a lightweight? Or is this the most dangerous underestimate of the decade? Drop your answer below. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because when the first public statement from the new supreme leader drops, we will break it down word by word. And when the 7th soldier's name is released, we will say it here with the respect it deserves.